Hello, Young Oldenators. We are back with another episode of Young Old. Wow.
It's good to be here.
Eve?
Well, I think we should just start off by talking about what led up to this moment in the prior hours, prior minutes.
Yeah, let's and not like what led up to this, like bringing the podcast back in like the macro. I'm talking about what literally led up to this filming today.
From an hour ago to right now.
Yeah. Well, actually, you think it started an hour ago because that's when you woke up. But actually, it's
Robert and I have been preparing for weeks for this moment. And then Eve started preparing an hour ago for this moment.
Well, actually, I was awoken. It wasn't even like I woke up an hour ago. Dana knocked on my door and goes, Eve, 1:45 wake up call.
We told her yesterday that we wanted to film at 2.
And Eve said, "Oh, okay." And what did I say this morning? I literally go, because we're supposed to film at 2. You texted a reminder this morning, and I was like, it's going to be 1:59, and Eve's going to be like, do you guys think I have time to like make French toast from scratch?
And then he walked in on it's like 2:30. He walks in to the kitchen and I'm cooking bacon, and we just have this look that's like, I know everything he's thinking already, and he just goes, I'll save it for the pod.
Well, because we'll always be like, Eve, we have 20 minutes, and she'll be like, do I have time to make a 5-course meal?
But in my defense, like, I would be so cranky right now if I did not eat my bacon and croissant and latte.
Well, obviously, I understand it is on some level a load-bearing platter of bacon for you, and that is just the price you pay. But it's just funny. It's like 2 p.m., 2 p.m., 2 p.m., 2:30. Eve sticks her head in. Hi, do I have time to torch my creme brulee?
Oh, and I was saying, Eve's like, do I have time to buy butane for my creme brulee torch?
The way I have butane and a torch, and I've used it to make creme brulee.
Eve's like, that's not funny. I already have butane for creme brulee.
I remember when they don't sell butane online because it'll explode in the mail.
Yeah.
And there was a Williams Sonoma like near us, and they had butane, and they were like, we're closing, and I was like, oh my god, I'll never get the chance to buy butane again. And so I bought 3 bottles of butane, and now I just have
Just so you know, you are on a watch list for domestic terrorism.
Right, yeah.
too much butane.
They are tracking your butane.
It's because this was when I was in my dab phase. Wax THC that you torch.
Who amongst us?
Which I did every day for 2 weeks, and then I woke up thinking I had COVID because I had the worst chest pain.
Chubs, when was your dab phase?
Literally 1 minute before we started recording.
T. The other problem they were having, other than me making my brekkie, was Dina was hating on my looks.
Well, it's not that I was hating on your looks. It's just that like you looked like shit.
It's real
That's
hard
hating.
to be the young
definition
part
hating.
of young old. The expectations people have for you.
Well, it's like if you have a hot 23-year-old and that 23-year-old wants to look like fucking shit. Just kidding. I'm literally joking. No, it's not. I just okay. Like you said,
And let me be clear,
Robert,
I was not a participant in this element of the prep. This
I'm
didn't
not saying,
involve me
I
at
don't
all.
think I don't think we're like a sexy podcast. Like you said, I don't think people are tuning in because we're sexy, but I do think that like looking presentable is a good idea in general.
And look how
And you cleaned up real nice.
Yeah.
You cleaned up so nice. I'm like, should I have not told her to clean up? Because now I look like shit next
No,
to you.
because if Eve hadn't cleaned up, people would just be puking and just like, oh, they wouldn't even be able to listen to her voice because they'd be like, oh, I can tell she didn't clean up.
Right.
So don't worry, I put on my whore makeup and my whore clothes.
I'm just saying, if we want to inspire fan fiction from creeps, as we've done in the past,
Is
we
that
need
the
to be
goal?
looking good. No. Of course, that's not the goal.
But also,
Well,
we
it would
shouldn't
be fun to
reference that it's
read,
been done in the
though.
past
Yeah.
because
Okay.
that will only embolden the people who've done it in the past.
You're right.
Also, say in those fan fictions, I don't come off well.
But you are included.
I'm included.
You should be happy that you're even being written about.
Yeah, those fan fictions allow me to see how the world sees me, and it turns out the world doesn't respect me even a little.
And can you blame them?
Two sisters talk about dumb shit. We hope you like it. 'Cause if not, then we'll kill ourselves and the blood will be on your hands. Young old.
Wait, Robert, I have a question for you. Would you rather kiss Dana or kiss the prettiest girl in the world for $1 million?
Well, Dana is the prettiest girl in the world.
He passed. I saw that on TikTok today, and I was like, I should.
You're always trying to sow discord.
Dude.
In the Bible, it
But
says that
obviously
bad
he
people
was
sow
too-
discord.
Okay. Okay, they clocked
That's
me.
not a direct quote.
They clocked me.
Yeah, you're always making up
Also,
things that like that's not the Bible.
Last time that we were on this pod, like Dana wasn't Christian.
Yeah, I'm
Isn't
Christian
that
now.
crazy?
I'm Christian and I'm a retired fake doctor.
Whoa,
Like so much has changed. Well, yeah. Do we have any? How do we want to recap?
I guess like update. Okay, so yeah, like what's happened since we were last?
Well, Dana and I are
Robert
engaged.
and I are engaged. Woohoo!
And Eve is She's pissed about it.
And I'm so pissed. And I'm going to stand up at the wedding.
She's gonna be our only guest and our only objector.
She
Our
will.
only
Yeah,
guest
she'll
will
have to
be an
stand up the whole
objector.
time. She'll have to play every role at the wedding because I have no friends, and Dana.
She's best man, best woman, no maid of honor.
I'm maid of honor and I'm best man.
You're gonna have
and
one
the
of those half
objector.
tuxedos, half gown where
Yeah.
you'll
It's
turn.
It's going to be lit.
Potential for an iconic fashion moment.
Yeah.
You could also do a Lizzie McGuire like twirl away to the other.
Or like Katniss, where her dress
Yes.
like goes up in flames and I'm in a suit.
Whoa.
That would be so lit.
I mean, that'd be if you did the
Designers
Katniss.
reach out.
Also, designers reach out for my wedding dress because I have some really specific ideas that I haven't really seen done yet.
And reach out for my maid of honor transition to best man outfit.
And reach out for Eve. She's building a suicide vest to take into City Hall with all her butane.
Yeah.
Designers.
So
designers.
You want to make the news?
Who wants to be part of it? I do feel like obviously the first part of the wedding part will be the you guys show. Well, it's gonna be the Dana show. Let's be real.
I mean, yeah.
But then after that, like the maid of honor best man speeches, that's gonna be the Eve show.
Well, we're gonna have Eve talk for 40 minutes,
Yeah.
but we're gonna break it up every 10 minutes so the audience thinks, oh, we're getting a new speech, and it's just gonna
And then
Eve
it's
gonna do a
me
lap and
different
come
outfit.
right back.
Yeah.
I think the outfit changes for you will be crucial.
I think so.
Yeah.
Dude, but Dana and I were saying it's like the way, not even in a rude way, but the way I'm like not even excited for the wedding part. I just want to like go on a big vacation after.
Well, we were
Honeymoon.
saying like it's like we want to ditch our own wedding so bad.
Yeah.
Like Eve even said this where she was like, I can't see you guys staying past 5 p.m. at your wedding.
Right, well,
Which is
'cause
true.
The weddings I've been to recently, obviously the bride and groom are there like late into the night. Like they have to be the last. I mean, you're the host. Like you have to be the last people there, and then like most times it ends at like midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're always the first ones out. But I'm last one there, first one to leave.
Yeah, them being wedding guests, they're out after the dinner. They're like,
Right.
bye.
Also, the bride and groom, it's like they don't even mingle. They kind of just sit, at least at the ones I've been to, they
Mhm.
sit and they kind of just watch everyone, and that
It's
would stress
really
me
weird.
out.
I mean, it's very much cosplaying king and queen, which I've never I've never had the desire to be king or queen.
Also, but I just be like, oh God, my uncle's talking to Dana's cousin. But I'm
Right.
powerless because I have to just be like the groom.
Right. I don't really have anything to say.
And
It'll
and that's
be
the end of the episode
fine.
1 of Young Old.
Oh god.
Dana's out of things to
No,
say.
it's not. I'm not out of things to say. I'm realizing I'm kind of nervous.
It's literally like, take a look around. Who are
For
you
what?
nervous for? Etane?
Atane is so judgmental. You don't know
Camilla?
the kind of shit she says. Camilla is actually judgmental. We talk about this all the time.
Yeah, these will be in the wedding party.
Another update. Yeah, I have no friends. Well, I have friends.
You, of course, has
Well,
friends.
I have friends.
Yeah. What is interesting about now that Dana and
Mhm.
I are engaged, you would think that would maybe like alter the balance of power in the household, and it really hasn't.
Wait, why would that alter the balance? Of
That's
power
exactly
in
what
the
I'm
house?
saying. You would think like, now suddenly I won't be the third wheel anymore. Eve will be the third wheel. But in fact, I'm not even Bider's the third wheel, and I'm not even in the hierarchy at all.
Okay, when they
Did you get
first-
engaged to me because you wanted more power in the house?
No, of
He
course
thought he would
not.
change things around here.
Of course not.
When they first got engaged and whenever they were being them, I would be like, ever since you guys got engaged, like you think you're better than me.
the fiance superiority complex.
Whenever we'd be like,
Yeah.
hey, Eve, we need to leave. Can you not make a 5-course breakfast? Oh, ever since you got engaged.
You think you're so much better than me.
Anyway,
The fires. Do you want to talk about the fires
oh,
at
do we
all?
want to talk
We're
about
safe from the fires.
Yeah. If anyone was curious, the Young Old podcast has survived the LA fires.
If you survived the fires, congrats. Now's threat number 2. The threat number 2 is us.
yeah, it's the Young Old podcast.
Yeah.
We're freaking
If you
back.
didn't catch that, that's a Leo Skeppy reference.
But TikTok is dead, so maybe Leo Skeppy has been forgotten
Yeah, thoughts
by
on TikTok
now.
dying.
I love how the fires we went fires for a split second and immediately
Well,
leaped
it's
onto
like,
TikTok.
They don't want, like, what else? We said we're safe. Now what?
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
we don't even know when this will come out, so maybe the fires will be like so old hat, or maybe there'll be new fires, a new
Yeah.
round of fires. I hope not.
Well, I certainly hope not. Maybe it will be old. Maybe maybe it'd be as if we were talking about like the Teapot Dome scandal or something.
What's
It's, like,
the
ancient
Teapot
history. It was
Dome
like a
scandal?
1920s like oil scandal.
I don't know what that is.
You're always talking about the Teapot Dome scandal.
Eve, you're number one. Yap, Teapot Dome scandal.
Okay.
I will say on the Leo Skeppy video, it is funny because I saw so many videos saying that video is like problematic or bad, and they kept saying it's spreading misinformation. I'm like, I don't think it was spreading any information.
There
it was
was
just
no
a guy being like,
information.
you think it's bad now? Oh, and that's kind of like the whole video.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about that video is that he doesn't even live in LA.
That's
He doesn't?
hilarious.
No, he
That's
lives in New
so
York.
funny.
He doesn't even go here.
He doesn't even go to the city.
I actually, now that video is just funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Imagine if you just were visiting
Go here.
Cincinnati, Ohio on a layover, and you stopped to be like, oh, you think it's bad now? Cincinnati's about to be a hellhole. And then you just get on your flight and never think about Cincinnati
Yeah.
again.
He's just trying to warn the Californians, but no, he's literally not. He's not here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he could defend us.
Yeah, he's like, I wish I could be here. I would be the
Leo,
vigilante on
fly
the
out.
streets.
We need you.
Yeah, we need you. The city needs you.
You're the
now
only
more
one
than
who's
ever.
aware of the threats that are looming.
Dana and I were at a dinner. We were at dinner last night, and we were sitting next to like this like middle-aged, I would say very rich couple of ladies, and they were talking about how like the world is. They spent every time they did something, they'd be like, "The world is ending. Get your fries. LA's on
Yeah.
fire. Order another cocktail."
Yeah.
And there is
like
just
one lady was like, "Should I get pie?" And the other lady goes, "Honey, the city's on fire. Get a slice of pie."
Pies could be burned up for all we know.
But also, like, we're sitting and like there's no fire outside.
there just
We're
is like a cognitive
we're just like in
dissonance
LA.
here.
They're just having a $150 drinks and dessert session.
But it is nice to be reminded, like, YOLO.
It is
Yeah.
nice. Yes, that is true. It's a good, how do I say this? It's good perspective shift
Yeah.
to understand that it can all be wiped out in a minute.
But
Literally
it's just
YOLO.
funny, like any disaster happens, and then just to justify whatever you want to do in the moment, by being like, the disaster happened.
Yeah,
I should buy a new car.
right.
Okay, you can stop me if this is a stupid topic, but you just said, buy a new car, and it reminded me of, okay, so Jack and Gab. I told you about them previously, and it's the couple channel who they broke up, and then he replaced her. with
Oh,
a
he
Yeah.
keeps
girl.
swapping out the
Yes.
girl in his couple
It's actually
channel.
he just swapped her out one time, which is super weird. But the old girl, the ex, has never, like, she's talked about, oh, he was shitty to me, like, whatever, but she never went into detail until yesterday. She posted on TikTok saying that a lot of their videos were fake, in that, so for instance, one where he bought his future wife a car, and it's her being like crying, like David Dobrik, like he bought her her dream car, and she's crying, and she's like, oh my god, like she was like, I bought myself that car.
Oh.
And then my friend and I rewatched the video yesterday because we used to be such huge Jack and Gab fans, and just watching it knowing
That
that
she
it
bought
was
the
all
car.
a lie is like, and she's such a good actress. Like,
Yeah.
it really is like she's being so tearfully grateful to him, and he's really hamming it up.
Maybe
like,
she was just being tearfully tearful.
that's what she said. She was like,
Yeah.
the reason I was crying is because I didn't want to do it, and he was forcing me to lie about that he bought me this car. Anyways, but
No,
then the
that's
other
crazy.
thing,
That's
and then the
wild.
other thing that he did was like tell her that, because she was like the star of the channel, and she had her own like social media that like had way more followers than him, and he would tell her that, oh, this company sent us free stuff, or they got us a free trip, so just post for them, even though we're not getting anything, but just for the free stuff. Come to find, he's pocketing the brand deal money.
That was
like
for that was
thousands
for
of
her or
dollars.
both of them.
Yes, that's either just for her or for the couple channel. He's telling her they're not getting paid, but just to post for the free stuff, and he's pocketing the money.
He's like, oh, Nike sent us these shoes. I mean, look, we're not getting paid, but let's be nice to Nike.
Yeah.
Post them on your channel.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what he did. He's like pimping her out and stealing from her. I'm like, isn't that illegal?
Were they married or just like
no,
dating?
just boyfriend, girlfriend.
Dude, that's
That
freaking
might
crazy.
be
That's why
illegal.
I mean, I don't know if it is illegal. We talk about this all the time, but there are so many shady arrangements in entertainment that are under the table that it's like it's so easy to get ripped off.
Okay, this is not even entertainment, but there was
Yeah.
a story I always think of. It was like this Mexican doctor, and there was this woman who was sick and under his care, and she died. And then after she died, the Mexican doctor dug up her body and just hung out with her around his house and would like replace her decaying flesh with wax.
Mhm.
And then eventually her family discovered it, and they arrested him, but he ended up getting let off because there wasn't even a law in the books to say you can't do that. So they just had to let him go. My point is, there's some like crimes that are just so weird that
Yeah.
literally lawmakers are like, it never
didn't
occurred
even
to
think of
us
that.
no one
to have
occurred.
to do that.
Well, it's like how I used to follow people on the road in my car, and I always used like the reasoning of it's not illegal, and Robert's always like, yeah, it shouldn't have to be illegal.
Yeah,
you're
it's
But,
so
like,
weird.
I think there is something to the kind of weirdo who's like trying to do something that's not technically against the law. Like, what's the weirdest possible thing I could do that's not technically against
Right.
the law?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Dana's always saying
And-
whenever she does something odd, and I'm like, "Why are you doing that? What do you say?"
I say, I'm allowed.
I'm allowed.
I'm allowed.
It's not against the rules.
Just because you can does not mean you should.
Yeah.
Period.
But yeah, no, it would be crazy if there was a law in the books that was like, you cannot dig up a body and hang out with it.
And likewise, it would be crazy if there was a law in the books that said brand deal merchandise must be evenly split
Amongst
between the
the-
couple.
But also some
Yeah,
of them
on
were
the
just
couple
on her
channel.
account. Like it was literally just her. Because I'm sure he was like, "Oh, I'm her manager" or something like that.
I'm sure he was like,
And-
"I'm stealing from her."
No, I mean to
Yeah.
the company. Like he was probably like, "Oh, Gab, like go ahead and send me that stuff, and I'll negotiate for us." Like I'm guessing she didn't say that.
But then he's negotiating that they don't get any money. he's like, don't worry,
"Well,
Gab.
I got us some free stuff, but no money."
I'm somehow imagining this segment getting twisted up in the discourse cycle to people who are like, Jack from Jack and Gab, he dug up a Mexican woman's body and just kept it
And
in the
maybe
house.
he did. Well, okay, because we always thought we thought they were
He
perfect
probably
couple
didn't.
at first.
No, he probably didn't.
He probably
Just,
didn't.
Jack, we're not accusing
No,
you.
I'm saying, but then, like, on TikTok, she would be like, "Oh, yeah, he was shitty," and we were like, "Oh my god, he was shitty," but, like, I could have never known that it went this far and this deep.
People are sociopaths out here. That's something I've definitely learned in the past couple years is people are freaking wackos.
Also, whenever you say, okay, or maybe it's whatever, but whenever you say, like, people in LA are really weird and, like, can be sociopaths.
He's from the middle, he's from Missouri, I think.
But he moved to LA, right?
No, he still lives in Missouri with the new girl.
Wow.
Like, I think maybe Gab has moved.
He
but-
kind of has, what's his name, Brent vibes then.
Brent Rivera. Does he?
No.
live-
the Brent from
Brent from Missouri that Robert talks about.
Am I? Yeah.
Robert's classmate's dad ran a funeral scam.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing quite well now.
It does seem like hot guys in Missouri be scamming, be grifting.
Well, that's which
Yeah,
is
which is your joke.
Which is the gist
Yeah.
of my joke.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a joke where basically it's like everyone says people in the Midwest are like ugly or whatever, and like everyone's hot in New York, LA. It's like no, there are so many hot people in the Midwest. It's just you don't see them when you visit because they're all in jail because they all do scams. Hot people in the Midwest are always scamming and always quite successfully.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, this was like a guy who it was like a big story in like my town where he was running like a funeral scam where he would sell luxury burial plots to dying millionaires. And then when they died, he would bury them in less valuable, worthless graves, and then he would pocket the difference.
And then the Mexican doctor would dig him up and hang with
And
him.
he's the one that exposed him because he
Yeah.
dug her up and he said, "This isn't a luxury
Yeah.
burial plot."
And he was the one who was dating Gab first.
What?
Crazy how all the lore is connected.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I'm wondering, like, someone listening to this, like, are they getting any of this? Like, is any of this? We're jumping over. But I am like, anyway.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments.
Here's what I will say about that, because I always get kind of like nervous, like, oh, I hope that his like family or people I know don't get like offended by that. But I'm like, the people in the comments love Brent. Whenever I tell that story,
Yeah, they go Team Brent. He
they
did
go
nothing
Team
wrong.
Brent. He
Yeah.
did nothing wrong. I'm
Yeah.
actually doing great PR for Brent.
Yeah.
They love
Mhm.
Brent.
They love him.
Also, just like a hot
People are
guy
listening
scamming
to-
millionaires will always be kind of cool.
Yeah.
People are listening to us talking. They're going justice for Jack.
I don't know
know
about,
about
all
Justice for
that.
Jack.
If you're going justice for Jack.
Is it still Jack and Gab, or is it
No,
now the new woman? It's like
Jack and JC.
Jack
JC
and
is the new
JC.
girl.
JC, I
And
hope
she
you're
just-
learning from Gab.
Yeah.
Like, I
JC,
hope-
check your bank account. Oh, I bet though with the replacement girl, Jack didn't even hide it from the jump. He probably just like pulled her in and was like, "This is the deal.
But at least,
I get all the money."
Right. Well, or at least JC knew that she was getting into a couple channel. I think Jack and Gab were dating before they were a couple channel. And then Jack was like, "Oh, we're going to start doing this." And she's like, "Okay." But JC, at least from the jump, knew she was getting into a couple channel situation.
She was doing a deal with the devil from the jump.
Yeah.
Whereas Gab thought she just had a boyfriend, and
Or
her
Gab
boyfriend
thought
was
she
like,
had a boyfriend.
her boyfriend was like, "You just made a deal with the devil."
And her boyfriend's like, "Look at my moneymaker."
Her boyfriend's like, "Wouldn't
yeah.
it be crazy if you just like posted these products in your story just to be nice, don't even worry about it?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Jack, are you wearing a new outfit?" He's like, "No, just post these though."
But it's like you're gonna steal money and then not even buy her the car, and she buys her own car, and then you're like,
It just makes me
"Pretend I
wonder
bought you
what's
the
he
car?"
using the money for then? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I'd hope saving it up. I
but
honestly, I know
saving it up
that's
to do
lame.
what?
I don't know. Something to JC. Something bad to JC.
Something horrible to JC.
Well,
that era, because I wasn't like online. Like you guys actually gave me a crash course in like YouTuber culture and influencer culture. I really wasn't online until like 2020, and really until like the pandemic. But like that era where like how you went viral was you had to buy someone a car feels insane to me. Like if you wanted to go viral, you had to buy someone a car who didn't know you were going to do that.
It does feel like people definitely were going above and beyond for numbers, and TikTok almost made it so you didn't have to try quite so hard to go viral.
But David's back and he's giving out Teslas.
Is he giving out Teslas again?
Yeah, his video back, he gave out like 20 Teslas.
Well, I also wonder if that's going to be the new standard. Like maybe the reason no one had to give away Teslas was because David was out of the giving away Teslas game, and so there was no
Well, it feels like everyone went
pressure.
to copying Mr. Beast, which at least in
Yeah.
that scenario, it was more like
lo-fi model.
Well, it was more like low. Like you're doing. It was like making people do stuff. It's
Right.
like I made you sit in a room with your eyes blindfolded for a week, and if you did it, I gave you money. David was giving away the Teslas. Mr. Beast is like, you're gonna have to earn this Tesla.
Yeah.
Work for it, bitch. That's
Work
Mr.
for it.
Beast. Okay, should we talk about Trishmas?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, we're in the influencer. You can
Yes.
do a leap from Dobrik to Trisha.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
because Trisha is
It's a leap over a chasm of
related,
hatred, but still a
related
leap.
to Dobrik. I am a huge Trisha fan. I'm a Patreon subscriber, etc. And she was having a Christmas show called Trishmas. There was an LA date, but the tickets sold out super fast. But she added a San Diego date, so I got us tickets for that, and we went down to San Diego, and the show was lit.
Chubs, tell them how Eve broke the news that we were going to
Well, I'm
Trishmas.
sitting next to Eve because it's like the morning. It's like the dining room table, and like I'm just like doing stuff on my laptop, and Eve is so excited, and she's like, "Okay, I got tickets to Trishmas. I got 4 tickets," and I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like, "Oh wow, I wonder who else Eve is bringing with her." I'm like, "Wait a minute, are we all going to Trishmas?" And
I
Eve's
don't
like,
know.
"Obviously we're going." So we all went to Trishmas.
But yeah, we went to Trishmas. It was super fun.
Well, we had a blast.
freaking
I will
loved
say
it.
there's also something very inspirational about Trisha Paytas as a figure. Like, all right, I like Trisha. I was introduced to Trisha in the Frenemies era.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
like that was my introduction. So I don't even know the other stuff. For Eve, it was a religious experience. For Dana and I, it was just a really fun show.
I did cry multiple times. I mean, she's so
She's
inspirational.
She's so inspirational.
Like, it really is proof that if you just keep going, if you show up for yourself every day, the universe will reward you.
Well, it is like, oh, if you just keep posting through it. Because there have
Yeah.
been so many eras where it's like you would think, well, clearly Trisha's down and out, and she just keeps going.
But she's also a true testament to passion is enough. Love for
Mm.
something is enough. You don't need to be good at anything.
like she's singing and dancing and not well, we may add, but it's still like,
But
still
it's-
so beautiful.
yeah, it's like so also
And-
like not well in quotes, like not technically well,
But
but,
it's-
also
it's
it's like so
amazing.
entertaining and moving.
Yes.
Moving.
And the passion really is like that. Is
It's overwhelming.
well, also, you're connected to her. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like, so
Yeah.
whatever she does, it's like, oh my God, it's so funny. It's Trisha Paytas doing this.
yes.
yeah, it's amazing. I mean, she's truly an icon.
But she's like giving it her all. It's 100%.
Okay, in my TikTok comments, someone described the word iconic or icon as I love this person when I see them online, but I would be terrified to talk to them in real life.
That's
and I'm
so
like, that
real.
is the definition.
Well,
of
yeah, that was
icon.
because that was from like when Dana will be looking at like some random person and like some random person like in their living room, some girl, and I'll be like, who is that? And Dana will just go, oh, she's iconic.
She's
And I'm like,
iconic.
Dana's constantly describing people on the internet as iconic who I would not trust to watch my laptop.
like they're always like half naked, like dancing around, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this is
You're like, they're an
everything to
icon.
me.
And I'm like, what do
Yeah.
they do? You're like, they sell swimsuits sometimes.
I also told Dana that I got special VIP tickets where she was going to be riding down with Trisha's husband, Moses. He was
In a
gonna be
one-on-one.
chauffeuring her to the show.
But I genuinely believe that was a VIP package that was sold.
She thought that was
based-
a real thing you could buy.
Yeah.
Maybe they should offer it.
We also talked, I feel like we talked about that for like 3 minutes, and Eve and I were joking, and Dana the whole time was just like, well, I guess this is real.
Well, it's like how you guys are always.
I don't want to. Please, I don't want to drive with him.
It's like how you guys are always saying I'm going to the platform.
Yeah, The Platform, if you've seen it, scary movie. If you tell Dana she's going to The Platform, even though it's like, it's
Obviously,
not
she's
real,
not going to the platform.
she will start freaking out.
But like, okay, how should we describe the platform?
Well, it's on Netflix.
Yeah,
you can Google
you
the
can
premise
go
of the
watch The
platform. You sit on a platform, and food gets lower down the levels of the platform, and you know, as it gets deeper and deeper, there's less food because people eat it, and you're trapped there forever.
And every month you go to a new floor. So some months maybe you're on a floor where there's a lot of food, and some
It's just
months
like
you're
dystopian
starving.
vibes.
yeah, it's
And
classic.
you never
dystopian
get to
vibes.
leave, and it makes me so upset to picture being there.
Because
you're going tomorrow.
yeah, I'm really gonna miss you when you're at the platform.
You packed your stuff, right? You told them what food you wanted?
You packed your plain gray jumpsuit and nothing else, right?
Right.
For the platform. I am saying like if it's between like Squid Games, the platform, Hunger Games, I am taking Hunger Games in terms of
always.
dystopian
Always.
battle games. Dude, I actually might take Maze Runner. Now that if we count that, when you're
What
just
do they
in the
do
maze,
in
they're
Maze
just in the
Runner?
maze.
They just run
They're
around.
just stuck in there. They're
But
just
then once they get out of the maze, it's like zombie apocalypse.
yeah. But I'm mostly talking about like the first one when they're in the maze. Still.
Okay, yeah. I guess
That being
so.
said, it is boys only, and I really don't tend
Except
to
for
get
the one girl.
the one girl.
And she doesn't even.
Here's the thing. Jesus Christ. Here's the thing. The girl shows up, and like all the boys are like, "Oh no, everything's different." You know, if it was an ugly girl, it wouldn't have changed the dynamic at all.
Change anything.
Yeah.
But I'm like, those boys were on their best behavior.
Dylan O'Brien, good job.
Boys were on their best behavior. Remember Dylan O'Brien came to our house? That's true.
Yeah.
It's a real story.
Mhm.
I might have to cut that out.
Okay, just kidding.
I don't know.
He didn't come. I've never seen him in my life.
Dylan's PR person is gonna show up with a gun. Stop telling people that.
To me, I'm just like, you can say that someone was at your house.
I don't know. I guess you can.
Who should we say was at our house that wasn't? to
Who
throw
should we lie
everything on the
about?
side.
One time, Jarvis Johnson was at our house.
That's true.
That's true.
Who,
With
who,
his dog.
oh, wait, who else should we say was at our house?
Are we just gonna keep naming people?
But those were real.
Yeah. Well, Jack and Gab were at our house early, and I said, "Hey, Jack, come here. You want to make some real money?"
It turns out he's been doing this to you the whole time.
Yeah. Just kidding. Dana hasn't had social
Jenny's?
media for
Dude,
a year.
Jenny's
Jenny's
ice cream
paid Robert
actually paid-
$100,000. No, yeah. Also, I'm back on social media.
And
Yeah,
she's
she's back.
She's been getting some good PR.
I
She's
have been
back
getting
and
good
back
PR.
and bigger than ever. I
I'm
might
bigger than
add. She was
ever.
bigger than she was before.
I have more than twice
The haters
Instagram
are
followers.
rolling in their graves.
Dude, here's what I will say. Dana deleted her social media for a year to take a break. And I don't know if you know this. When your girlfriend deletes her social media, people think you killed her. Because, like, if you tell someone else I deleted my social media, they think you're like, oh, on a healing journey, like Eat, Pray, Love style. If I say, oh, yeah, my girlfriend deleted all her social media, they think her body is in my trunk.
I did get a DM from someone who directly said that they thought Robert killed me.
And they were onto something.
She was like, I'm really glad you're back. I thought he killed you.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they're worried about you.
Well, there is an element where I had been making that joke about, like, haha, they think I killed you for a long time. But it was like when she came back to realize, like, oh, no, the joke was real.
Yeah, they
really
thought I
thought
was
so.
dead, and
They
they
really
thought that
thought.
Robert was responsible.
Yeah.
And she did have a spiritual death. And then
I did.
A
I had
spiritual
a,
rebirth.
I had an ego,
Risen
death,
from
and
the
rebirth.
dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it is crazy because I think when people like have never like gone viral on social media or don't have a following, it seems so like important, and they can't imagine like she deleted her accounts. Well, why would she do that? And it's like, well, if she wants, she will just create them again and then go viral again.
Yeah. Well, it is like it's like if Elon Musk.
Yeah, how is it like Elon Musk?
It's like if Elon
Yeah, what is
Musk-
it like Elon Musk did?
It's like if Elon Musk like shut down Tesla. It's
That
like
would be a
if he-
huge problem globally.
But okay, the reason why that analogy doesn't work is
Yeah.
'cause the star power is within you, right? So no matter what you do, like that'll always be there to lift you up.
Mhm.
But he doesn't. He's just like him acquiring Tesla is like I don't know where I'm going with this. You know what I mean?
I think it's a
he doesn't
valid
have star.
analogy,
He doesn't have
no?
star power.
Yeah,
But like
it's
that's how
not
people. That's how
him.
people. But that's how people perceive it because they don't understand that the star power is within me. They view it as if Elon shut down Tesla.
I don't think they view it as if Elon. I don't think you're viewed, not in a rude way, as like an Elon Musk style figure, but also that's probably good.
Do you think
Yeah,
I'm
there's not a lot
not?
of overlap.
I think it's more as if someone if when George Clooney quit ER, all his friends were like, "Oh my God, why'd you quit ER? That was a show." And it's like, well, he'll just act in other projects.
Right.
And I think it's more like that. It's like, what are you gonna do? It's like, well, you'll do whatever you want
Yeah.
to do.
And what did I do? I became a fake doctor.
And Dr. P.
We're
was
cutting
lit.
this.
Okay, we're not
I'm
talking
joking.
about
I'm joking.
Dr.
I'm joking. I'm
P.
joking. I was joking about Dr. P.
Also, for all you idiots out there, no, they are different people.
We're different people. Dr. P was just my doctor. We happen to look a lot alike and have a
dude, that
very
was
similar
another thing.
bedroom.
Dana like created like an account because like after being off social media for a while, she created like an account where she played this character, Dr. P. And so many people would be like act as if they couldn't wrap their heads around like being a character online.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know for a fact you've self-produced many failed web series. You know what it's like to be a character on the internet that nobody really seems to respond to.
But
What
people
is
did
going on?
respond to Dr. P.
I know they did.
There
That's
were
another thing
PP
too.
heads. There were PP
Yeah.
heads.
Dr. P was clouded up at 7,500 followers.
Well, also in those 7,500, they were in your
Dedicated.
army.
Yeah, they were dedicated. They were PP heads.
Well,
They
that's
were PP
I did
heads.
buy a bunch of hats to do a
We should
10K
wear
giveaway, and I
them.
never
Well, we could give them to the
10K.
young
You want 'em.
older
Yeah, if the young oldenators want proud PP head
Well, it's so
hats.
interesting because you had 7,500 followers for Dr. P, and they all loved you. It's like I had like 850,000 followers. No one gave a shit about me.
Well, bro fell off, but
Bro
the
fell off.
back.
They
Fries
only
in the
care to say bro
bag.
fell off. Bro fell off. Bro's fall off needs to be studied. I get so
Well,
many. of
I'm
them.
actually going back to school to major in Bros Fall Off.
Yeah.
And she's writing her thesis,
And I'm writing my
there's gonna be a lot of
thesis.
interesting findings, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I said the tests for my class are like put the and it's like blank in the bag.
A,
And then A.
corn.
B.
B,
Hot sauce. C. Fries. E. Fries.
And then I'm like acing the test. And
Yeah.
it's like, did bro fall off or am I just? And it's like late, on time, punctual, early. And I'm like, early.
I'll get something
Star
like, am I
student.
early or is it just a Robert Schultz video?
That's absolutely brutal.
That's so
Yeah.
brutal.
Robert heard people in real life talking about his fall off.
I am pretty sure I did. Now, this might just be the type of narcissism where you're thinking an insecure thought and you project it on the others. But I walked out. I brought Dana a coffee while she was getting her nails done. It's just something I do.
Brag,
I don't even
flex.
really think about it.
Because I'm engaged.
And anyway, I walk out and it's like there's like a coffee shop with outdoor seating and there's like these two guys and they seem to be looking right at me. I'm like, whatever. And as I'm walking by, I hear one of them kind of mutter, "Yeah, he kind of fell off after the pandemic." That's what I heard.
Kind of fell off after the pandemic.
Who else could they be talking about?
Who else could they be talking about? What else
Other
could they have
than
been saying?
bro.
Other than bro.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, what else has happened since we last left?
Oh, here,
Since
let
we-
me look at
yeah,
my
look at your
list.
topics.
I will say Dana and I, I just saw this because I took a picture, but like Matt Rife had a memoir at Target, and whenever Dana and I walk past it, it always has a bigger sticker with more percentage off, a bigger discount.
That being said, we respect Matt Rife.
No, here's the thing, I can respect that something's not my cup of tea while
Yeah.
also being like, man, he got a lot of people to drink that tea, and that is an accomplishment.
But I will say that it doesn't seem like his memoir is selling that well.
yeah.
And both things can be true. I can respect the virality of your crowd work clips while also acknowledging that 2 weeks ago your book was 30% off and last week it was 50.
Well, it is kind of wild to just make a memoir when you're so young. That being said, I know for a fact you've thought about making a memoir when you're
Oh,
pretty young.
I've thought about making a memoir every day since I was 8.
Yeah.
You know, every day a new thing happens.
8-year-old making a memoir is
It's
crazy.
deeply funny.
Well, I had a lot going on.
That's your niche. How many 8-year-olds are making a memoir?
Gary Vee would have encouraged me.
Yeah.
Gary Vee would not have been a hater.
I would cut off my limbs to be 8 again and write a memoir.
You're 80?
That's
Yeah.
your niche.
Gary Vee's always like, it's never too late. What I wouldn't give to be 95 years old right now on social media?
It's like, you'll get there, Gary.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Gary, your time is coming.
On Gary's 95th birthday, I do believe he is going to be like, this is what I've been waiting for. Now I go viral for real. You're like, Gary Vee, I just got shot in the chest. He's like, no. What I wouldn't give to be shot in the chest right now. On Facebook Shorts? On YouTube? On Instagram Reels?
He's so
There's a huge
sad.
demand for people who've been shot in the chest.
Dude, here's the thing. When you're at your lowest, though, a Gary Vee TikTok can lift you up in ways that is so embarrassing.
Well, Gary Vee was one of the initial inspirations of Dr. P.
Wow, and all roads lead back
Oh,
to Dr.
sorry.
P, don't they? Oh,
Sorry,
sorry. We were talking
sorry.
about someone else's social media accounts for 20 seconds.
I was just saying that Gary Vee was an influence.
My favorite Gary Vee quote is how he talks about you. Every day, I fully convince myself that my family has died in a horrific incident. And so I am so happy when I go out and I see that they are still alive.
I'm pretty sure it was like he was talking to someone in a crowd. They asked him a question like how he stays motivated. And he goes, I want you to picture the people you love most in the world. And then I want you to picture them getting shot in the fucking face. And it's like that motivates you to get into e-commerce.
That motivates you to go to a garage
My
sale and
mom
buy some
get-
baseball cards.
My mom gets shot. I'm like, I gotta go to the garage sale and buy Pokemon cards now.
I'm like, I gotta lock in on my drop shipping.
Eve, why are you so locked into drop shipping? Eve wiping away tears. I don't want to talk about it.
But I'm like, that must be so traumatic for Gary to go through every day.
Every day. Also for his family, when dad's in one of his moods, it's like, oh, he's imagining us being dead. So he can motivate himself to film a TikTok
they're
about us being dead.
Dad, he's like, shh, I'm trying to imagine you're dead.
Didn't Joe Rogan say something similar about working out and his motivation for working out?
Yeah, he's
being
like, I imagine someone trying to kill my family and I can't do anything about it. And it's like, this is what you can't. Also, he works out all the time. So you're spending 3 hours out of every day in a reality where your whole family's been murdered and you couldn't save them.
To me, all the motivation I need to work out is like an episode of Seinfeld or like knowing I can scroll on TikTok.
Yeah.
But
I feel like these men have just not faced enough.
Adversity that they're imagining it.
That they have to make it themselves.
Well, the thing is, they probably have faced real adversity that they've just, like, because they're men, they've just buried in their brain and not
that's
allowed
so
themselves
true.
to be insecure about.
So then they have to make things up.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I relive the adversity of being a fat teenage girl all the time.
What?
Whoa.
Wait,
It's never
you
comes
were
up.
a fat teen?
I was an obese teen.
But you were popular in middle school, though, right?
I was a loser in middle school.
What?
And no one's liked me my whole life.
What?
This is the first we're hearing of this. So I talk about it every day.
Talk about it every
Talk
day.
about it every day.
Also, any topics can somehow come back to Dana was a fat loser child.
Well, like, you know those, what are those paper things that in middle school or whatever you'd play with?
Cootie catcher?
And and they only have certain answers. And Dana's got like Dr. P, fat middle schooler. I'm a Christian.
Well, I'm a pole doll with like 5 phrases.
You have five
Yeah.
phrases. You have 5 phrases.
And they're all like
period.
really self-pitying.
And it's all like, I was a fat teen and nobody liked me.
And then you got to go, great. So Chipotle for dinner works.
And it's like, Dr. P had an audience.
It's like Woody, like, there's a snake in my boob, but it's
Yeah.
Dana like, there's a hater in my elementary school dance class.
Oh my! Well, okay. So Dana and I have been taking dance classes.
Ooh, yeah.
Mhm.
hip adult
like
hip
for a
hop.
year now.
Yeah, and it's really fun. Robert went with us one time.
He killed it.
What'd
He
you
honestly
think?
did.
Oh, honestly, here's the thing about it. I did, dare I say, better than you would think someone would do,
Mhm.
because here's the thing about dance that is both why I can't go back and why it is so good, because, like, you have to be locked in.
You do mentally,
Mentally, you can't let your mind stray for a second.
or you'll forget.
Because if you miss one thing, it's over.
It's over.
You cannot zone out.
Well, that was something that I knew going in. I was like, it will be so much more embarrassing for me if I don't give it my all.
Yeah.
If I give it like 90% and like I'll mess. It'll be so much more embarrassing than if I try as hard as I possibly
Mhm.
can.
I mean, it's hard. Like it's a mentally taxing and physically, but really mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I can tell it keeps me sharp.
Anyway, so of the last class we went to, there's always like one girl or something who was just.
Well, it's a beginner class. Like we should
Yes.
emphasize, it's literally beginning
beginner
Cap 1. Like it's the most basic class you could possibly do. And then there's always one girl who's like probably a teacher's assistant, or she like clearly like is a professional dancer.
like she's so good. Like, well, at least we have to tell ourselves that she's professional, or
if she's not, then what are we doing?
if she's not.
But last week,
yeah, this girl, like we're doing the dance, we're feeling good. We're like, yeah, like
we think we
killing
get it. Like we think we're doing it well.
And then the last, and this is like, she like really waited till the end to put the nail in the coffin.
yeah, it was. Well, she was the final performance
She was
of
the final girl
class.
who went up with the teacher, and
Yeah.
she ate the teacher up, and he's amazing.
Yeah, like she made the teacher look like he was a freaking novice. Piece
She
of
knew she was
shit.
going last too. But everyone's like, "Do you want to go on this one?" She's like, "No, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah.
I'll be the
And
finale."
like
Yeah.
you could tell that even he was like, God damn.
Like even he regretted the duo
Even
because he got
regretted the
showed
duo,
up
and
real
he's
hard.
like obviously the best because he's the
He made
teacher.
the dance up.
Yeah.
He made the dance up, and she ate his ass
mobbed
up.
him in front of everybody.
Yeah, it was humiliating.
Yeah, he had to quit his job. He had to
Also, like,
quit.
I think
I
everyone.
saw a tear in his eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just walked outside and walked right into traffic.
No, us and like everyone else in the class. I know after she went, we were all like, "Why
Well,
are we even alive?"
I was saying it very much was like realizing you're a different species of human than
And then
someone.
that's when Dana said that she's Barbie and we are Cabbage Patch dolls.
Like that's literally what it felt like. I literally am like, oh, I'm a creature and I don't have fine motor coordination.
Like we'll never be her.
Like-
and I said I'm gonna sue her for emotional damages because
it just really does make you go like, why do I bother?
But I'm like, she needs to be brought to justice.
Yeah, if you're watching this,
If you're watching this,
And we know you are.
I don't want to
Oh,
see
we
you at
know
the
you
studio
are.
in our class again.
get out of beginning hip
What if
hop.
the
It's rude.
what if the reveal is it was me in a wig?
Oh my god.
And I said I wanted to show my true colors, and I just held back when I went as myself. You guys don't like this bit even a little.
Because it wasn't you in a wig.
Because it wasn't you.
Because
You
it
know
wasn't you in a wig. It
I'm
was,
like, what if it was me in a wig? And you're like, it wasn't though.
It wasn't. It wasn't. But yeah, Dana says we're Cabbage Patch. And I was like, Cabbage Patch is too mean. Can't we at least be Bratz dolls? And then we settled in the middle for American Girl dolls.
Yes.
I think that hierarchy is probably correct.
Yeah.
Brats, American Girl.
Cabbage.
Cabbage.
So we're American
You're
Girl
American Girl dolls, but like with a really sad story.
Yeah, we're ethnic American Girl dolls.
Well, I still have the American Girl doll teeth. Dana's teeth She used to have them, but
My
the
Gap is closed, yeah.
so.
But I do have American Girl doll limbs for sure.
Oh, like your
Just
teeth
like-
look like the teeth of American. I thought
Well,
you had like
No,
literally like in a jar
No.
somewhere American Girl doll teeth.
No,
No.
like they all have a little gap in the front,
Yeah.
and that's what my teeth look like.
Dude,
But her teeth used to look like.
Yeah.
speaking of teeth, I went to the dentist and the dentist said like, "Oh, like your teeth are kind of a little worn. Have you been drinking anything acidic?" And I said, "Well, sometimes I have club soda with lime." And he said, "Yeah, that'll do it. Sucking on a lime, sucking on a lemon, sucking on a grapefruit." And I was like, "No one said sucking on anything." Anyway, I just wanted to say that. And I was like, "Nobody said that."
Sucking.
Sucking.
Just sucking.
Yeah, I said, "Oh, I'll have sometimes have club soda with lime." He's like, "I know what you really do.
I know what
Yeah.
you really
I get you freaks in here all the
And
time."
he's like, because I do it too.
Because I do it too. And he locks the door,
I
and
can
I'm like,
spot one of my
Dude.
own.
A sucker of a citrus.
A sucker of a citrus sucker. But I went to we do go to Soul Cycle all the time. That is the one thing we do.
Oh yeah, that's been a new young old group activity.
Yeah. It's really lit.
I'll say this: everyone online in the comments is convinced that I'm gay. Soul Cycle instructors, they not only know that I'm straight, they hone in on it.
Yeah.
Like a shark who smells blood in the water. They're like, "There's a
Yeah.
straight guy here."
Yeah, and I'm gonna make him feel so embarrassed.
Dude, day one, the first time we went, literally, I'm like, I just don't hope no one looks at me. I hope no one talks about me. First, like big hill we do. The instructor looks at me and the mic goes, "Robert!"
And every time we have taken her class, she's always screaming Robert.
And she
Screaming
commented
it.
on his frosted tips when he had
Wait, I think
frosted
This was a
tips.
that was a
woman.
different lady.
Early, that was a different time at a different Soul Cycle.
Lisa
location. It
told
wasn't
you
Lisa.
that-
This was like one of the
Oh.
ladies who comes by and like helps you get set up
Oh,
early.
it
She
was
goes,
an
Staff
employee.
member.
Yeah,
she
staff
goes,
member.
"Nice frosted tips."
And he was so humiliated.
She said it more sincere, which actually is worse. She was like,
You-
"Nice frosted tips."
But you can use that
What
as
I
your
heard was
motivation.
"nice frosted tips."
You can use that as your motivation.
Yeah.
Instead of pretending your family died. You're like, nice frosted.
Yeah. Every day, I picture a Soul Cycle employee I've never met complimenting my frosted tips. And that's
Then
why
I
I'm
go to
going to
the
go
garage sale.
drop shipping. I'm going to go buy Pokemon cards.
The best part of her screaming Robert, though, is that Dana signs him up. He doesn't even have his own account and name that's listed. She asked
She did ask.
when we came in
She
what
asked.
his name was.
so she
that
could holler it out.
Commit it to memory.
Yeah.
And scream it during the class.
At the other location
Yeah.
we go to, the bike that I always am on, it's a little squeaky. And I swear to God, I'm not doing anything wrong. It's just squeaky. But it always means that the instructor will come over and will just like, while I'm biking, will just be like adjusting my bike for me. And it's just so like to be sweating and working out. And there's just like a person just like reaching around and over you.
Well, we pretend she comes over and spanks him. In the
Yeah.
That's what they say.
But Eve actually does get low
I
groped.
get
Dude.
molested.
Eve, 'cause
Yeah.
we were joking about that. Like, haha, she basically comes over my bike and gives me a spanking. And Eve was just casually like,
To be clear, I love her. Okay.
well, just say what you said, exactly as you said it to us.
She squeezes my love handle.
No, you called it a rump tickle.
Yeah,
called it a
don't
rump
be
tickle.
doing this.
Don't be coy. You said
forgot
does
the
she
verbiage.
give any of you guys a rump tickle?
I didn't
like
forgot
it
that I
was
said
very
that.
it was very like does coach give you the weird massage? It was very bad. Like you're like, who else gets a rump tickle?
Basically,
No
she'll just,
one.
like, she'll just, the little fat by your she'll just give it a little squeeze.
Yeah.
Or a little, well, no, actually, no, with her nails, she did do a tickle.
Because you called it a rump tickle.
It was like this.
Yeah, you
was
called
like
it a
that.
rump tickle.
With a little to the side.
You
like a
can't
little-
open with rump tickle and try to work your way back.
The way I truly forgot that I used the words rump tickle.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
we
seems like
didn't
seems like you're
forget.
blocking out a lot of
Yeah.
this interaction.
Okay, I guess it was a rump tickle.
So Eve is getting rump tickled by the Soul Cycle instructor,
Yeah.
and we are going back.
Dude. And we're
Well,
going back.
it's
We
not a
actually love
problem
her.
for us.
It's great fun. It's really funny.
and when I don't get a rump tickle, I'm like, did I do something wrong?
You're like, guys, go ahead. I need to go ask the instructor something. Hey,
Are you mad at me?
Yeah, I thought I did a good job in class.
Something else I admire about the Soul Cycle instructor is that she has multiple Love Shack fancy Stanleys. I'm a
Oh.
Stanley girl now.
Tell them about the Soul Cycle Reddit and the Stanley Reddit.
Yeah, so I'm a Redditor now.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
Eve is keeper of the. Eve's got like 10 tabs open, different niche Reddit communities, and she sees all.
Eve's become a huge troll in the past couple of years.
Well,
she
I
doesn't
was-
post.
No,
No.
well,
She
except for the
observes.
one time I posted in Stanley and then
Got
roasted.
fucking roasted, and I was like, I'm never posting anywhere ever again.
Eva's been following the Stanley Reddit, those giant water bottles that girls have.
This
Yeah.
is the Tylo.
I saw a picture of you with your hydro flask in my iPhone memories the other night, and I thought, I miss the old Eve.
Yeah.
Bruh.
This isn't you. You used to have a slightly different, comically large water bottle.
I've always had a large water bottle.
Yeah.
Because I'm always chugging.
But the thing
Yeah.
about the hydro flask is when you left it in the car, it didn't spill everywhere because it
But
had
the
a closed.
Stanleys- They are.
She's always
missing-
like leaving her Stanley upright, and then the Stanley falls
happened
over.
one time.
Dude, also, it's not even Stanley. Sometimes she'll just have like a cup of latte with no lid, and she'll just bring it into the car with her.
Robert's backseat has a huge coffee stain.
A
in it
whole
now.
coffee spilled because Eve literally
I
just
was
put
eating
her coffee loose.
My food from Phil's, and I forgot about the coffee, and then it was just.
Well,
kinda-
Eve pursuit of decadent treat, like it trumps everything else around her. So also, but Eve in the back, she goes, "Oh, sorry, I spilled a little coffee. Sure, whatever, that's fine." I look back like the next day, the whole seat, it's a comically large stain. And I can't emphasize enough. I'm not even mad. It's like, whatever, who cares? But it is, I am just so impressed. I'm like, how could this have happened?
It's because it was just a loose coffee with no.
To me, Eve would have had to have tipped her coffee cup over and shaken it to get the stain. Also, there have been times where I'll drop Dana and Eve off at dance and I'll be driving home and I'll hear like a clinking and I'll turn around. Eve will just have like dishes she brought in. Just again, no lid, just dishes.
Yeah.
I'm just like, who is this person?
And first I spilled coffee all over
Yeah.
myself when we got
Yeah.
into the car. This
Her
was the
her
other day.
iced mint
This
mocha
was
just all
post-Cabbage
over
Patch
her lap.
conversation.
Yeah.
Spilled the coffee all over my lap, and then my other jar, which had like leftover ice and coffee.
Well,
in
while
it.
you're spilling your new coffee on your lap,
The old coffee
you're
spilling
moving.
in the
No, you're
back
moving. You're
Oh, yeah.
moving your watery coffee mug from the morning.
Yes,
You
into
just kind
this-
of throw it in the back seat.
And then as we're driving home,
Clink,
I hear
clink.
it clinking on the floor, and I'm like, oh, that's spilled everywhere.
Eve throughout the morning is just building a Rube Goldberg machine of stuff that's gonna spill.
and it always does.
It always
And
does.
it always does.
Yeah.
Here's what I will say. I prefer the Stanleys to the Hydro Flask because Eve values the Stanleys so much that she's always kind of protecting them, where the Hydro Flask would
when they-
drop
yes.
and you would think you were like under attack.
Right, because I never dropped the Stanley.
No.
They also have like a handle, I guess.
Yeah, you treat the Stanleys with the utmost respect.
I
They're also
do. The
she keeps them on the
Hydros-
top shelf of the cabinet like they're trophies she's won. I don't know why
And they are. One of them was free because I ordered this one and they sent me a different one, but I got to keep it. Posted about it on the Stanley Reddit. I was like, did y'all get to keep your thing if you got a wrong one? They were all like, you should return it, you dumb slut. And I was like, why? Like, their fault they sent me the wrong one. And they're like, you.
I just love that Eve has been lurking in the Stanley Reddit for so long, and she thought, oh, these are my friends, these are my community, I'm part of this, we're all in this together, and she posts one time, and immediately they all turn on her. The thing is, they are a community, and Eve is not part of
And
it.
I'm not part of it.
But it was interesting to like see for real that they are bootlickers, diehards of Stanley, to the point where like they want their corporation to win.
I
Yeah, they
would
don't want
push
me to
back.
win.
I would pull back on this, of course, because I'm like, they were just saying that
Well, 'cause
Eve
you
wasn't
know it's the
entitled
boot- it's
to
bootlicker.
keep it.
You
no, but she is.
Team
But here's
them.
my whole thing is, if you order a product on the internet
And they send you a
and
wrong
they
one.
send you the wrong product, you shouldn't have to send that product back. They should offer to send you the correct product.
Well, they
Obviously.
were going to send her the correct product, but I'm like, all right, they're like, oh, we'll be cool. We'll send you the correct product. Can you just send us back the wrong one? To me, it's like if you order food at a restaurant, they bring the wrong food, you eat it all, and then you go, actually bring me the right food. It's like, well, wait a minute, you just ate all the wrong
But
food.
but
Once
that-
you
but
eat the food,
that would only be valid if she was like at the Stanley store. I think the second that you're asking a customer to go mail something, you're wrong.
Because I was like, it takes me like there's
what you were like is, it would take me $1 million to spend
go
20
to-
minutes of my time to go to the post office.
I'm like you would have to pay me $1 million to go to the post office.
That's verbatim
so
what you
it's like
said.
if they want me to return it, they owe me $1 million.
But I agree with that.
So
Like,
wouldn't
I
you
think that's
rather just
valid.
send it to me rather than pay me $1 million to go return it?
I think even now your tone, it is very much like you're at the Stanley headquarters, probably with your butane strapped to your chest, being like, give me $1 million or let me keep the Stanley.
I think good customer service is making sure your customer gets the product that they ordered without ever having to like
well, to
go
be clear,
mail
Stanley
anything
did
back
let
to
you keep
No,
it.
they
They
didn't,
did.
yeah.
They were cool.
They
Yeah.
didn't say nothing.
Stanley was
like-
chill.
But I'm just saying,
the
like-
fact that the subreddit wanted her to have to
Yeah.
be inconvenienced
And
for
he
the
was
benefit
team
of the
them.
company,
Well,
and Robert was on their side
I'm
is
just
crazy.
pointing out that there is a case. It's not so much like it's just like you're not entitled to keep it. Like if they
I
let
am.
you
But I
keep
would,
it, they're like, it's cool.
disagree. I would disagree. Like they sent me something I didn't want, and now I have to go to mail it back to them in order to get the
we've
thing that
already
I
had
already.
this same conversation like
Yeah.
hundreds of
Anyway.
times.
We have
already.
every conversation 1,000 times.
That's true, and we pretend like our memory is wiped and that we've never had this
Yeah,
conversation.
but hey, let's look on the bright side. Let's all get. At least we were all skinny and popular in middle school.
At least
At least we can all say that.
we can all say that, right, Dana?
Dude, I actually was pretty popular. I would say 7th and 8th grade. We got an influx of like new students, and
They didn't know you were a weirdo.
they didn't know how freaking weird I was,
Yeah.
and they were really into me. And there was a little bit of panic of like, I can't let them find out.
What did you do to
That
keep
you're a
them from
freak.
finding out?
Well, okay, well, not really that, but it's like, okay, like when I was in 4th grade, Star Wars Episode 3 was coming out, and I was really into Star Wars. And like in 2nd grade, my mom would listen to like the Jack Benny radio show. So I thought like Jack Benny was a cool thing for a 2nd grader to be in. He's a comedian from like the 30s, all right?
Okay.
And so like I had all this weird baggage, but they came in fresh, and I was like, they just thought I was like, oh, kind of funny, and I was like, this is it. By the end of 8th grade, the
They knew.
norm
They
had
were
reset.
onto you.
The norm
They
had
were onto you.
reset. But
Couldn't hide it forever.
for like half a semester, I was cooking.
Wow. That's pretty
Wow.
cool.
It's been downhill ever since.
And, you know, in some ways, it has.
Well, we've talked about this. 8th grade is socially like the most fun anyone can ever have
Well,
because there's
things
no
are the
stakes.
stakes are so
The stakes are
high.
so. The stakes have low.
You get they feel high, but in actuality, they're low. So you
Well,
get to just have the drama of the stakes
yes.
without the real personal cost.
like having a reciprocal crush in 8th grade. That is what true love is.
also,
like-
it's like you sit next to them a couple times, and it's done. Like you've
Yeah.
succeeded.
And you never have to like. You don't have to even kiss them. You don't have to. You definitely don't have to f them.
Yeah, you don't have to like. You're not like dealing with like all this insecurity. It's just like, oh, it's just the good part.
Well, we were saying like if someone likes you back in like high school, there is the fear of like, oh no, are they gonna have to see me naked?
Yeah, it's
But
like-
if you're in 8th grade, like there's none of that.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, oh, we are sitting next to each other on the bus.
In high school, it's like, oh, what if they think my body's weird? They think I'm a bad kisser, and also, what do you do for dates? I have no money. And in 8th grade, it's like, what if I sit next to them in history? And then you sit
Yeah.
next to them in history, and you're like, it's as good as I thought. And that's it.
And that's the life.
Yeah. And then
Eve's
it is all
being
that
quiet because Eve
there.
was popular in high school.
I didn't go to high school, so I couldn't be popular.
That's like the most popular thing someone could say. That's like the most popular
How
shit
am I
anyone
be
could have.
popular if I'm never there?
That's what the coolest people know not to be there. You know?
The coolest people know that in order to be popular in high school, you cannot ever attend.
Well, because then they can't be on to me if I'm never there.
exactly.
That's so true.
You keep them in the dark.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, one of the topics I had listed is that you guys think I'm a catfish.
In what way?
Well, like, when I went to New York with my friends
Oh,
for my
yeah.
birthday, when I came back, they were like, looking at your social media and you're not here, it's like a totally different person. Like,
Well-
you would never
Well, you would
guess.
think Eve was like a super like glammed up like cool girl socialite, like young Carrie Bradshaw meets like Emma Chamberlain.
And for all
Mojo.
of you, I am.
And it's like, oh,
Okay.
they have no idea she's like sleeping until 2 and then just like eating a decadent breakfast while watching Dexter until 5. Like they have no idea.
And that she's clinically crusty. A
She's
doctor
medically
told her
crusty.
she was
I
crusty.
was gonna bring that up. She is medically crusty.
I had a sty on my eye last March, and like it's mostly gone away, but there's still a little scar. And I went to the doctor yesterday, and he told me there's a lot of crust on the lashes.
And then when Eve told us this story, she goes, "Well, look, he didn't say I was crusty." It's like that's exactly what he said. He said,
goes-
"In my medical opinion, there is a significant amount of crust."
she goes, he didn't call me crusty. He said there was crust on
was
me.
Yeah.
a lot of crust.
Yeah. Also, Eve's room is messy. Again, like this is just like what you don't see. behind
Also,
the
like
curtain.
how I looked like 5 minutes before we started this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why Dana was so worried. She was like, "Are you gonna do the podcast like that?"
Which was a valid question.
and then I opened a tube of mascara, and she goes, "The relief I feel watching her open the tube of mascara."
also, Eve and I have both quit smoking weed.
Which is crazy.
crazy.
We're like stoner central.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
was really addicted to
same.
weed.
Literally same.
And then I passed out and pissed myself in the middle of the
Well, as we
Americana
all
Mall in
do.
Glendale.
Dude,
Yeah.
Eve. I mean, sorry. Well, it's funny because like Eve and Dana, both stoners, both quit. Eve quit by, I think I'm gonna stop, and then she stopped. Dana quit really out of necessity because she got too high. Then we went to an outdoor dining area at the Americana.
Yeah.
And Dana took a sip of her cocktail. It mixed with the weed weird. She passed out and pissed her pants.
And then an ambulance came in the direct center of the mall, and it could not have been more central and more visible.
Yeah.
It could not have been more humiliating.
Also, for me, it was really annoying because, like, okay, I have to obviously act like I'm concerned, but in my head, I'm like, I know what this is. Because what I want to say, but you can't say is, guys, relax. This has happened like 4 times. I want to say that, but obviously you can't say that. And then there's like this random old lady who's also a stoner. Her husband was there, and he had like a Weed University shirt on. It's like, Jesus, the fact that you need these are your white knights in this scenario. And the old lady
White knight.
runs over and starts like cupping Dana's head as she comes to, and she's like, it's okay. And then in my head, I'm like, well, I can't get outdone by this rando. So then I have to pretend like, Dana, it's okay. I'm like matching her tone, and I'm in like a emotion off with this rando.
But he's
even
being fake as hell.
Well, because I'm
Yeah.
like, I know she's
She's
fine.
fine. Yeah.
And then when she woke up and she's like, and the ambulance is there, and they're like, do you need to go in the ambulance? And Dana's like, and I'm like, obviously not. Dana goes, I think it could be good.
That's like $1 million, isn't it?
Yeah,
No,
but she
it was
didn't ride in it. She
$100.
just sat in it.
Oh.
Yeah, it was only $100.
And
Well,
she had
she
to ride home in her piss pants.
Yeah.
I did have to ride home in my piss pants.
Yeah. She rode home in her piss pants.
Yeah.
29-year-old woman riding home in her piss pants.
And then what Eve did was Eve didn't smoke weed anymore.
Well, I have passed out in public twice because of weed, but I've never pissed my pants. Hold your applause.
But we've talked about how like you'd think that quitting weed would have made Eve more productive and
no,
sleep
it's
less.
worse.
Well,
I'm
it is,
worse
it's almost kind of
now.
nice because on some Eve sleeps so much of the day, and it is like, oh man, is she sleeping this way because like the drugs are making her? And then it's like, oh no, she just wants to sleep. We've proven that you just want
But
to
I
sleep.
really thought, I was like, oh, if I quit weed, I won't be so terminally sleepy. I'm just terminally sleepy.
But Robert and I were talking about how it's funny that like people warn you about drugs because they're like, drugs will make you lazy. Drugs will ruin your life because you won't want to do anything. And it's like, Eve doesn't even need drugs to
Yeah.
Dude,
It's
I'm
like, I just straight up-
bro.
Eve off drugs is like, it's $1 million to go to the post office.
And that's like has nothing. She's not under the influence.
And I was like, obviously on Reddit, reading like people's experience with quitting weed, and a lot of them were like, I can't eat, I can't sleep, and I was like, the way I have no issue with either of those.
Dude, I will say the
things.
people on, if you're posting about it on Reddit, it's got to be real bad for you.
I
To
guess
just,
so.
You have to. It has to be so extreme to warrant a post on Reddit.
Oh yeah, the only time I ever posted on Reddit was when I had really
The
bad
skin,
acne,
yeah.
and I was really I was not in a good place. Oh, it had been dark. It
Yeah.
was dark.
I mean, obviously, I don't smoke weed. Not a cop. Anywho, but I did pass out once at a middle school birthday party. This might have been the
Wait,
beginning
I
of the
oh,
end.
yeah.
It's because it was an ice skating party, and I wasn't looking, and I hit the wall, and I went over the wall and landed on my head and got knocked unconscious. And I woke up to like all of the cool kids in my class and their parents gathered around me, staring at me, and they were worried I had a concussion, so they were asking me these questions. But I was like really embarrassed, so I just tried to deny that I ever fell down,
And they
which just made them think I had like a
memory
super
loss.
concussion. They're like, "Hey, Robert, do you remember falling?" And I was like, "I didn't fall." I was like, and then later,
it's worse than we thought.
and then later, like this girl, she called me at my house, clearly because her mom said check up on him, and she's like, "I just wanted to check up on you," and I'm like, "Why?" You're weird. I'm starting to really diagnose how my descent from popularity in middle school happened. But at least you two were popular in middle school, so
Dude, ice skating events were my Super Bowl because I was an ice
you're a
skater.
great ice skater.
And I had my own skates, and obviously everybody had to rent ugly brown ones that like make you. It's really hard to skate in rental skates because they are so shitty.
Mhm.
But obviously, I had my amazing skates, and I'm doing tricks on the ice, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, she's so cool." Or maybe they thought I was a loser show off, but like I was thinking she's so.
Or they're like,
cool."
"Who is that girl? She never comes to our class."
Yeah, they were like, "Does she even go here?"
They think you're just an instructor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you only ever turn up for ice skating events.
Dude,
Yeah.
the best parties though were 8th grade bar and bat mitzvahs. That was like the best stretch.
I was in the hospital for a lot of that.
It's always something.
It's always something.
It's always something.
Well, also, like, when I wanted to leave school early, they were always like, but you won't graduate with your class. And I was like, first of all, why the fuck would I give a fuck about that? But second of all, the year that my class graduated was COVID, so no one got a graduation. And I was like, joke's on you, bitches. No, like,
And you
if
did
I
your-
can't
You
graduate,
did your
no
own
one
cute
can.
thing with your pink gown.
Right. So then what they did was like the next year or semester they had like a car parade graduation.
so
That's
sad.
so lame.
Dude, it's
COVID,
so sad.
COVID was so sad.
But so they all had their gowns which were like green, and I ordered my own one on Amazon that was pink.
That's so funny.
It was iconic.
That's
And
so-
obviously I still got to go to all the events because it's like they weren't school sanctioned. Like I'm just hanging out with my friends in my pink gown, and they're all in their green gowns.
That's so funny.
And then we did the car parade, and
They thought they really had you.
They really
They
were like,
really
oh,
thought they
she
got you in
won't-
a corner.
They were like, she won't graduate with her class. And it's like, no, I did
No.
participate in the festivities, and I looked like the coolest bitch.
Yeah, they were like, in order for her to win here, the forces would have to move on a global level in a way they've never moved before.
And they did, baby.
And they literally did.
And they did.
And even her pink gown, dude, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Also very Glinda and Alphaba, but
So-
everyone's
but
Alphaba
everyone
and
else
you're
is
Glinda.
Alphaba.
I'm the only Glinda.
Mhm.
I
But
did
wouldn't
see,
that make you the Elphaba and everyone else is
Oh yeah, we
Glinda?
were all gonna see Wicked as a family, but then the wildfires canceled the performance.
but I still really wanted to go, so I went with my boyfriend and his brother and his girlfriend. It was lit.
Well, originally we were going to go to see Wicked, and Eve was leading the charge to take their grandmother.
Because our grandma likes musicals and whatnot.
But then their grandmother decided she actually didn't want to go, and for some reason, Eve didn't let up the charge. Almost as if it wasn't really about taking her grandmother; it was more about taking Eve.
it's almost like
And
two things can be true. You can want to take your grandma to a musical and then also still want to go to said musical when your grandma doesn't want to go.
Yeah. Well played.
well played.
And it was really good, okay?
I mean, Wicked. Here,
Hats off.
we saw Wicked the movie. Obviously, we did like it, but also
Mhm.
it's like, dude, I listened to Wicked for the first time on a road trip. I'd obviously heard Defying Gravity and Popular my whole life, but I'd never listened to it. And like, dude, there is an element of like, this is what it's about. What do you mean? What do you mean? The Scarecrow was a hot prince who was in love with the Wicked Witch.
Wait, do your scarecrow bit.
Well, no, Robert was always saying, like,
What's also crazy because what I always say is like, in Wicked, the Scarecrow talks like this. But then I'm like,
in-
I've seen Wizard of Oz and the Scarecrow's like Dorothy. And I'm like, is that part of the spell?
right.
The spell that turns him into the Scarecrow, is that part of it?
And so when I was watching the musical, it overlaps with Wizard of Oz. So this is after when Elphaba has allegedly been killed by the bucket of water that Dorothy throws on her. And the Scarecrow is present for all of that, being like, Dorothy, Dorothy, right? But then he like knocks on a wooden panel and like Elphaba comes out and she's alive and he's like, it worked, we're safe, like in his sexy Scarecrow voice. And it's just so funny to imagine the juxtaposition of him being like Dorothy, and also okay, so they pull up and they're like gonna kill the Wicked Witch and he's being like, Dorothy. And Elphaba's like, Fear, why are you
Yeah,
acting
yeah.
like
Well, also
that?
in Wizard of Oz, she
And
also
then-
lights him on fire.
Yeah.
Right.
She lights him, so maybe that's why she lit him on fire. She's like, all right, I don't like that.
Right, because she's the egg. Because she's the egg.
Yeah.
She's like, why is he talking like that? And then, and then afterwards, he's like, we did it, we're safe. And she's like, you can stop talking like that now. And he's like, talking like what?
She's like, ugh, I think I'm gonna run away alone. He's like, Elphaba, I did it all for you. And she's like, ugh, I need to focus on me right now. Ugh. Dude, also, but I didn't know, like, okay, it's also like, again, maybe they explain it in visual, but also when you're listening to it, I didn't know Wicked was like a hard origin story for literally every individual element of Wizard of Oz. It's like the way, like, in Act 2, Bach shows up and he's like, and I have my own beef with Elphaba. She turned me into the Tin Man. I'm like, when the fuck did that happen?
In the soundtrack, it's really not
Because
explained.
last I checked with Bach, he's a munchkin who's at the dance. And then he's like, oh, and by the way, she turned me into the Tin Man.
Also, we were saying that means she made him tall, which isn't that what he wanted in the first
Because
place?
in Wizard of Oz, the Tin Man is tall.
Yeah.
The Tin Man's kind of hot.
Yeah, he's sexy.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like, you're welcome,
Also, like,
Bach.
in the Wizard of Oz, he's got like a big dick.
A big tin dick.
Yeah, it's a huge
Dick.
metal dick. It's like, come on, Bach. You got a big
Yeah,
metal dick.
be grateful.
Dude, I'm so mad because like that was in like the 1933 version was the big metal dick. I think Disney edited it out for like the re-releases.
Right. Well, remember when he's like, oil, and he's like looking.
He's like,
oil.
"Oh."
And Dorothy's like, oil?
He's like, yeah. He's like, wait, how old are you? She's like, 16. He's like, I'll oil myself.
Okay, also, while we were at breakfast at the table behind us, there was a guy talking about some sort of like, I guess probably a YouTuber sexual misconduct thing. Did you hear him?
Yeah, he was talking about that 70s show.
Oh, okay, got it.
Go
But
on.
he was trying to explain to his parents why it was like bad for a 16-year-old to like date someone in their mid-20s, and I could tell his parents like didn't get it.
They were like,
like he kept being like, because it's problematic, because like they can't really.
they're like, well, I was only
Consent.
12 when
Like,
Poppy was
I-
40 and
okay,
proposed to me.
I didn't even hear what they were saying, but he had to like keep re-explaining it, and he had to keep emphasizing like it's problematic for someone in their mid-20s to date a teenager, and his parents like were not understanding
Well, it is because like if you say like any like old person into this, like, hey, how'd you meet? They're like, well, I was wearing my finest dress and he kidnapped me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, if you're using the word problematic with anyone old, they don't
get
you've
it.
lost. It's over.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought that was funny that I'm like, his parents clearly like couldn't comprehend the idea that like it was so bad that like someone in their mid-20s would date a 16-year-old, and he had to keep re-explaining, and then he reached for, and even if she was 18 and
then
he
it's
really
gone.
lost them.
And I heard that.
Yeah.
part. I mean, even if she was 18, it'd be. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I can just feel that they're like.
they don't even get
what?
the 16 thing. They're really not gonna get it once you go.
Also, it's like your parents are there. Can't you just like talk to them about like the Civil War or something?
Yeah.
You know what
Well,
I mean?
also they're like 18, so she's an old spinster.
Yeah.
Like they don't get it.
right, they don't understand.
Yeah, they're like, wait, start from the beginning. What was this child wearing? Something whorish, maybe? I don't know. Dude, I will say, and I always thought this was interesting back when I was doing stand-up coming out of the pandemic. Because over the pandemic, I was like online a lot. And like something that really didn't translate for me, every joke of mine that's like big age gaps are weird online would kill. And I would say it in like Santa Monica, nothing. Like, and for some reason I do think, and I'm not saying like, you know, it's correct, obviously. I'd prefer they agree. But like for some reason, age gap discourse really just does not translate in
Or
real
it's like,
life.
I prefer they agree.
Well, we said that the way we're
All right,
gonna
cut to the camera.
or the way we're gonna split any potential profits from this podcast will be based on who goes the most viral. And so Robert's gonna be like every episode like, and that was the tea that was spilled, and I'm mopping it up.
Yeah, you better bring a mop, because this bitch just spilled all the tea.
And in case you haven't noticed, he's been here the whole time.
Oh, God.
Versus his little section of Chubs chat.
I'm also like, okay, also it's just like, Eve's like, oh, are you sure you want to be on the podcast the whole time? Wouldn't it be better if we just had a 5-minute segment called Fat Ugly Loser Time? What about Fat Ugly Loser
Also, we
Time?
talked about this,
Fat
but
Ugly Loser
Robert has
Time?
gained 30 pounds since Chubs chat.
Isn't that interesting? I used to be like really skinny.
Yeah.
'Cause I think I
So
was-
should we call it like Ultra Chubs chat now?
Yeah, I don't know, Eve. I think you're maybe thinking about this in the wrong way.
But also, it's like I never thought that Robert was emaciated, but when we look at old photos of him, I'm like, who was that?
Well, it is like crazy. It's like I was just working in a cubicle back then. I was like still working my
Yeah.
cubicle job, and it's like, dude, working in an office does like sap you in like a physical way.
It depletes your life force.
Yeah.
It makes you look really old.
Well, there was like I saw some study where it's like they were like, you know, like the Daily Mail will put these out where like this is what office workers will look like in 30 years. And, you know, it looks like the woman from Barbarian basically in a pantsuit. And it's just like, and I'm just like, but the thing is like that might be true. You know what I mean?
I think it takes a real toll on your body.
Yeah. Working in a cubicle, dude.
I have New Year's resolutions.
Oh, yeah.
written.
Ooh, that's kind of fun.
Okay, go.
Mine was to stop picking at my fingers because they're always like bleeding because I'm always like tearing them to absolute shreds.
Okay, not to brag, but my fingers have really had a
your
glow
nails
up.
are glowing up as hell.
I realized I don't bite my nails anymore, and so they're long and pretty.
Okay.
Just in time for my engagement.
Well, I was skinny in middle school, so what do you think about that?
Yeah.
I was skinny in middle
No, I
school.
know,
I
it's
was a
high
loser
school.
in
I
middle
know,
school.
I
I
know.
was
And then you were
fat
fat in
and,
high
and a
school.
loser.
I know the lore. I know.
I know the lore. We know the lore.
And I mean, I relapse occasionally, but I'm doing a lot better. So
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Girl, in a couple years, your nails will look like mine.
couple years.
My New Year's resolution is to not buy things. I'm doing
Yeah,
no buy
she's doing pretty
2025, and I'm so far I haven't bought, and that's just regarding clothing specifically.
She's allowed to buy other things.
I'm allowed to buy whatever I want. That's not clothes,
But not
But not
clothes.
clothes. And I haven't bought any clothes, and we're doing good on that.
But she's got a lot to last her. So.
I do.
Well, every time Dana would buy clothes, it would be something where like you have 5 of those, and then she
Yeah.
would donate old stuff to Goodwill, and then she would buy basically versions of the stuff she just donated. It's like you could just like even I should have just set up a shop where we just sell
Yeah,
you back
sell
the
you your
things
old
you've
shit.
donated.
But that's what a shopping addiction is. Like
Yeah.
it's just you're filling a void that can't be filled.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to I guess let the void exist. I'm trying to let the void vibe out.
She's letting the void vibe.
I'm letting the void
yeah,
vibe.
have you tried letting the void vibe? Me talking to a heroin addict, they're like, there's just a void when I don't do heroin. Let it vibe.
Let the
bro.
void
vibe.
vibe.
Have
But
you tried
I have-
letting it vibe?
I have Jesus now.
Dude, this was
Tea.
this was like one of my favorite things that Dan and I witnessed in a social situation once, where there's this guy who lost a ton of weight. He used to be really obese and he lost a ton of weight. And he was saying, it's just like, yeah, I think for me, the key is like there's certain foods I just can't have in the house. I just can't have them in the house. And so I'll just binge them so I just don't have them. And this other girl chimes in. She goes, actually what I do is like I have all the food in the house, but then I just have a couple bites and I say, that's it. No more for me. And I'm
she's
just
like,
watching.
have you tried that?
I'm just watching this guy like hold in a nosebleed, and she's like, "Have you tried like having a little bit of food and going full enough for now?"
And that's that.
It's called self-control.
Speaking of binge
Oh,
eating,
you need to look up self-control. Have you Googled
Have you considered controlling
self-control?
oneself?
Okay, but my binge eating story is that Chubs got me crack for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
There is this candy called Chili Bomba.
Sponsor
Try it
us.
at your own risk.
Chili Bomba
Don't
sponsor
us. I can't take it.
Don't sponsor
Chili
us.
Bomba,
Please.
sponsor us, but make sure any money offers go through me.
Don't sponsor us because like my teeth will fall out. 3 bags of these Chili Bomba sour belts, and I consumed them rapidly in an unhealthy speed. And my teeth, like it's been weeks since then, and my teeth are literally still recovering.
You go to my dentist, he's like, yeah, sucking on a Chili Bomba, sucking on a lime, sucking on a grapefruit.
Yeah.
Another one of those citrus suckers.
I'm a citrus sucker.
Dude,
I'm a
that's-
citric
chili-
acid
yeah.
sucker.
But I need to take a CB break, which is a Chili Bomba.
Bomba.
A Chili
break.
Bomba break.
Yeah. We got rid of one addiction, weed, replaced it with a different
It
one.
is crazy. It
CB,
seems like it's
Chili
harder for you to
Bomba.
kick Chili Bomba than it was to kick weed.
I mean, honestly, I kicked weed because I was going to London with my friend, and I have brought, this is not real, to the police. But I have
If you're
brought,
the police,
This
if
is
you're the
real
police,
to
this is
you.
a lie
Real.
for
but
engagement
I
and
have,
views.
brought, I have brought weed on planes before to places where it's illegal, and it's been fine. Like, what I didn't get arrested.
Yeah.
But I was with my friend's family, and I was like, on the slightest one, like 0.1% chance that I get arrested, like I just can't face that with my friend's
Embarrassment
family.
socially.
Yeah, if I'm with my family, it's like what?
Yeah. I mean, you've been
You
arrested
know?
in front of us like a lot of
Right,
times.
exactly.
You actually have a
I'm like,
really
it's
disturbing
fine,
record.
It's fine. But if I get arrested with my friend's family, like I can't recover. So I was like, I'm gonna have to not bring it. And that was the first time. And that the trip was a week long, so that was the first week in 5 years that I had gone without weed. And then once you get over that hump, it was pretty easy to keep going.
It's kind of for the best though, because it's like you don't want to let you smoking weed in London, because then you get the munchies and all that's around you is British food.
That's
I
so
did like
real.
the fish and chips, but
But that's their
other than
best. That's all
that,
they've got. You're like, ooh, I'm so high, I could really go for some boiled cabbage right
yeah,
now.
you're right.
You want some boiled cabbage?
You want a Scotch egg?
Yeah, their snacks are not very good because they have no like the Takis were very like it's like diet. It tastes
Dude,
like diet
snacks in other
Takis.
countries suck shars. Like I went to Iceland and even like their sour candy tasted weird.
Yeah.
What the frick?
Well, it is like Mexico. They have really, obviously they've been Mexican food, but I do like Mexican Coke and stuff. Sometimes you can get like a,
Wait, what's the warning on the Mexican Doritos that we buy?
Oh, caloric. What?
No,
What does
it's
it
like
say? It's something
extreme calories or
extreme
something.
calorie.
Like on the Doritos that come from
Warning.
Mexico, there's like a calorie warning about how caloric Doritos are.
Yeah.
like they're extra caloric in Mexico or just a.
No, like
Doritos
just
in
like there's a big
general.
warning
Wasn't
that
that a thing
Doritos
with
are
Subway where they're
caloric.
like in London they can't call it
Bread.
bread because it's
Yeah.
cake because
Yeah.
it has so much sugar in the bread.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, that's kind of, here's the thing about that. There's a charm to that.
It is funny.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Well,
Can I get the wheat cake
yeah.
for my Italian
Yeah,
sandwich?
wheat cake.
It's like how nicotine products here have like a little thing that's like nicotine is a deadly substance, like
Yeah.
yada yada yada.
They basically have the same on their
For
Doritos.
Doritos, yeah.
Where they're like, this is gonna make you fucking fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. Here's the thing about nicotine that I do think they really did a good job killing cigarettes, but I do feel like they're coming back. Not for me, obviously, but
But
I
for the
feel
general
like I see
public.
more cool people like smoking cigarettes, and I'm like, they make you stinky, right?
But I think it's a deliberate thing. Like I think that there are certain I would venture to guess that cool hot people, and I've said this, I think one of the most evil things you can do is be a cool hot person and make smoking cigarettes look glamorous.
Addison Rae, we're looking at you.
Yeah,
Does she
with
smoke cigarettes?
well in
Well, she's been
Aquamarine
posting
she
her doing
posting
cigs.
cigarettes, but also in Aquamarine like there's like shots of her smoking like multiple cigs at the same
What's
time.
Aquamarine?
Her
It's her music
video.
video.
Oh.
She's
But
just been leaning into that aesthetic.
yeah, but
and
I
it's like,
think
no.
I think Addison Rae is part of
shadow government.
All right, let's call it
I'm surprised we've made it this far without you bringing up a
the shadow
conspiracy.
government. Well, again,
Well,
that's
that was a
another one of the
segment.
that's another one
That
of
was
the
a
turns
segment.
for
We'll do
The
that
Dana.
next
segment
week.
idea
Well,
was that Dana gives
I'm
us
gonna
a
share a
conspiracy
conspiracy with you guys
Dude,
next
Dana's
week.
always she's watching a conspiracy TikTok, like get 40 likes, and I'm like, if this person was talking to you, you would panic and run. She'll watch
But
like
if they're-
4 minutes of a TikTok, and I'm like, if this person was in the same room as us, you would call the police.
But if we're separated by the screen of my phone, they make me feel so safe.
Dude, also,
what is that?
I can tell they're stinky through the phone though.
Yeah. But back to cigarettes, if one person's stinky, or no, sorry, if everyone's stinky, no one is stinky.
Yeah, so
That's
that is part of the
true.
conspiracy.
So
Yes.
if you're only with cool people who are all smoking cigs, then none of you think each other smells bad.
Well,
Yeah.
I always think that whenever it's like Republican, like those like online Republican propaganda where it's like a 1950s family, they're like, bring me back to this. I'm like, you know that house smells
Smelled
terrible,
okay,
right?
well, this is why I couldn't read the original Gossip Girl novels, is because they're always smoking cigarettes, and I literally felt like when I read the novels, I could smell the cigarettes, and I was just like, I don't care how hot Nate is, if he smells like cigarettes, I don't want to be around him.
That's so real.
That's how I
That's
thought
real.
in 6th
It's
grade.
real.
And that's why I needed to stick to the click books, because they were in 7th grade and they were not smoking
Well, dude, that
cigs.
is the thing that, like, that's why I think vaping, there's not really a risk of vaping hitting the way big tobacco was really hitting with cigs, because, like, vaping actually doesn't make you look cool. So if you're
Yeah, you
vaping,
look
at
like a
least it's for love of the
loser.
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Oh, Dana and I were at a, back home in the Midwest, we were, like, walking through, like, a holiday light extravaganza, and there was this, like, young couple with their really young toddler in front of us. And literally, the toddler's like yelling and screaming and misbehaving, and the dad looks at the kid and goes, "Oh, why don't you listen to me?" And then hits his vape, and I'm like, "That's why, dude. That's why,
And then
dude."
also, like, the kid screaming, and he literally goes, "Why are you like this?" And then the mom goes, "He's 2." Wow.
Dude, and the dad also,
Yeah.
obviously we're walking
Right
slow
behind
behind
them,
them, so we're
yeah.
eavesdropping the whole thing, and the dad then goes, you know, you're the only kid here who's doing this. I'm like, you're not gonna like put like social pressure on him.
He's like,
Hey.
I'm too.
Yeah, young man, think of your standing at court.
Like, it was just like so funny. I'm like, this dad.
Well, it's almost seemed like the dad was performing for us. Like, he wanted to
Yeah.
seem like he's cool and he has no idea why his kid's like this. It's like,
Right.
you raised the kid.
Yeah.
Dude, I tweeted something like that, and I shared it. I tweeted it, took a screenshot, deleted the tweet, shared it to Instagram, as you do.
As
And
you do.
someone in the comments was like, "Oh, what's the joke? You deserve less respect just because you're smoking a vape." It's like, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
That's
joke.
exactly-
yes,
you
that's
got
the
it.
joke. Yes,
That's exactly
correct,
what I'm
buddy.
saying.
Correct. Thanks for explaining.
Yeah. Also, it's like, that's fair game.
Oh, and then also we went to another light show. So first we went to a light show in Missouri that was beautiful.
Beautiful
I would
light
say
show.
it was gorgeous.
Actually really impressive because it was in a botanical garden and obviously nothing grows. And so they
Right.
really did a good job figuring out a way to make the botanical garden a vibe despite the fact that nothing is growing in the winter there.
So then we decided to come home and go to another light show, a similar holiday themed light show in Pasadena, only to get there and realize it was secular as fuck. Like, there was not a snowman, there was not even like secular, like not even like no baby Jesus. There was no
There's no
allusion
star.
to Christmas. There was no
tree.
allusion to any sort of winter holiday, and they very deliberately did not include the colors red and green. Everything was like purple
They
and
wouldn't even
blue.
include like the white of like a star, like your
Yeah.
classic star.
It was like
in
all
the music, there was no Christmas.
there was
music,
no
Jingle
Christmas
bells.
music. It was like kind of like weird Oriental music, and then there was a lot of like geometric shapes.
I don't know if you can say Oriental.
Yeah, there was a lot
I can
of
say
weird,
Oriental. I'm
beautiful
Oriental.
music.
I can say
Are
whatever
you?
the frick I
Is
want.
the Philippines in the Orient?
Yeah,
All right.
I
thought the
people did
music
say-
was beautiful.
Okay, whatever.
But
those
anywho,
people.
oh God, she's back to the shadow government, Eve. Great.
Anyway,
But here's what we were talking about this. We're like, they marketed as this was like we went like the day after Christmas, and it was marketed as their enchanted, magical winter
enchanted
spectacular.
winter garden. or
They knew what
something.
they were doing.
Yeah.
And also, like, I'm against like the war on Christmas, not in like a like Christian way, but in just like a vibes way.
Yeah.
Like, I want a little bit of the Christmas here for the energy.
And for me, it isn't a Christian way.
We gotta cut these cameras.
I cut it.
We gotta cut it.
Gotta cut
Rebuked.
it.
Rebuked.
Oh God, dude! I do like how throughout the podcast we went from sitting up straight to
I
just
know,
sort of
just
all
sitting
laid back.
Yeah. My body started hurting.
Yeah, I'm
We should do
teasing.
like a all right, well, good night, and then lights
Okay.
up. I wish we had clap. All right.
All right.
Good
Okay,
night,
ready?
young old one.
2, 3. Good
night,
night,
young
young
Oldinators. And Chubs too is
and,
here.
and turn off the lights.
Chubbinator.
And turn off the lights.